Hey everybody, welcome to What Drives Us, episode 347 for January 1st, 2020. Yes, the first day of the new year, the first day of a new decade, and you pedants out there who want to argue about the decade thing, okay, I don't want to hear your bullshit, okay? It's a new decade because I say so. And if you think I'm an idiot, you're probably right, and cheers for the observation. Thank you so much for watching. Hey, it's January 1st. It's New Year's Day. I'm so glad all of you came back here. Everyone survived the night. Thank you for being safe. And look at this panel. Yes, look at those three smiling, not hungover faces. Well, one of them might be.
I don't know about those two.
Yeah. One of them might be. Let me introduce the panel, and we'll get this show on the road. My comrade in arms, our show co-host, and all-around good guy, even if he is a Blackhawks fan, Mr. Tony.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to the last year of the 2010s.
Oh God! God! Oh yeah.
All right, so so I just had to get that out there. But Happy New Year to everyone, and I'm going to give a shout out to my new favorite brewery. It's Cubit Brewing. So tonight I'm drinking it's called Rob's Flaming Pie. And so what you need to do is go to QUBITbrewery.com. It's a couple of buddies of mine just started brewing beer, and then one of them happens to be a web design nerd, so he threw up a website. So, and make sure you read all the pages because they put me in charge of marketing, and I can tell you none of it is serious.
It's all in Latin.
Yes. I'll tell you what, that quick brown fox jumps
I was just going to say,
hole.
that's lorem ipsum. It's just a text filler. It's not really Latin. Well, let's see. Our friend in Canada, I got to tell you, I am so envious, with the best lighting on the show ever, maybe, Mr. Mark Coughlin.
It's a new hope.
It is. Look at this, the delicate facial lighting, the spotlighting.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Shadows. It's amazing.
Threw it together and it just worked. Russell tells me it worked. I can't change anything, he tells me. So we'll go from there. We will go from there. Welcome to the show, everyone. And welcome to the Russell decade.
Oh, sweet Jesus, I hope not. The Russell decade? That's horrifying. And last but not least, our friend in the Mid-Atlantic, his lighting scheme's a little bit different, but look at all the cool stuff he always has in there. Maybe second only to Patrick Connor, and I'm going to let him and Patrick fight it out for most interesting backdrop. But Mr. Casey Green.
Good evening, everybody. It's great to be back. We had an amazing 2 weeks full of news and everything, so I'm not going to bore you with all of my adventures.
Well, and because of a new What Drives Us policy, we're not going to talk about any of it. It's all in the past. We're only talking about the future. We're looking forward, not back.
Okay.
Ooh. And if you believe that, let's talk about something that just happened recently here. Our friend Tony uploaded his review of the RAV4 Hybrid. So here's Tony going to talk about it.
Yeah, so this was a while coming. I had the RAV4 Hybrid back in June. Unfortunately, I didn't get around. I didn't have an opportunity to upload the video until recently, or I should say edit and upload, because editing is, of course, the hardest part. But so let me tell you about the RAV4 Hybrid. It's a RAV4. They've fully redesigned it, which would make you think that it would feel weird sitting in a RAV4. But it's still the same RAV4 that you're familiar with. And that was both challenging and welcoming at the same time, because I really expected this redesigned RAV4 to feel functionally different. I expected it to just like wow me or surprise me, or I would feel really awkward. But Toyota keeps a lot of the same design cues even when they change their design theme. So on the exterior of the car, you might remember the sporty, the hip, the happening, the RAV4 with that funky, weird front fascia with far too many angles. All that is gone. It's now just your standard SUV grille. It's a lot like the Highlander has always been. But what's really weird is the inside feels a lot larger than what the so it's not the big Highlander. It's rather TARDIS-like, if you will. So the footprint is exactly the same. The length, width, height is exactly the same. I think depending on whether you get the package and the roof rack, whatever, it adds an inch or something. But otherwise, it's the same. That's rated at, I think, 41 miles per gallon or something like that combined. And I ended up getting 50 or more every single day that I drove it. And it has a lot of great creature features. It's a very capable hybrid. And, it's heated seats, heated steering wheel. It's got the ventilated seats. And because it was June and it was getting pretty warm in Chicago, I was able to test those. And I love ventilated seats. They're my new favorite thing. Probably, I think the best review I could give of the RAV4 is to say that there's not much to say about the RAV4. The hybrid switch from battery to internal combustion engine and back is pretty much imperceivable. You just get in the car and you drive it, just like a hybrid should be. So, I mean, that's it. Watch the video. It's on our channel. Just look for RAV4 Hybrid, and hopefully you learn something or something.
Beautiful. Well, yeah, go check out Tony's review of the new RAV4 Hybrid. Thank you so much, Tony Schaefer. Let's see. Do we have another news story tonight? Yeah, we do. Actually, Tony has the next one.
I was going to say, you want to throw in Mark just to break it up?
No. No, I don't. But thank you for asking. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I love this editing on the fly.
Yeah, I was just going to say. Don't recut my show, okay? While we're recording.
No, I received the script and I made some edits, and I was wondering if you wanted to go over those.
The sad truth is Tony does actually have a script, and I don't. Only because I have it, I just don't open it. Because I used to follow it because I'm not professional enough. I don't know. I should.
Wow. New year, new revolution.
It's a new honest Russell. So,
wow. Yeah, hang on tight, kids. It's about to get bumpy.
Speaking of bumpy, so let's talk about the history of lithium-ion and why we should even care about it.
Yeah. Well, so I figured it's 2019 going to 2020. So I figured this would be a pretty good time to do the decade in review. Well, my search took a bit of a turn because the first article I found was actually an article from Automobile Magazine or automobilebagmag.com that identified lithium-ion batteries as the 2010 technology of the year. And I thought, that's kind of curious. And it really is a 10-year-old article. So I'm reading through it and I'm thinking, well, let's see how they did. And I got to give a shout out to Don Sherman, who wrote the article for automobilemag.com. And he starts with following decades of research and lengthy apprenticeship, energizing cell phones, laptops, and power tools, lithium-ion batteries have begun closing the gap between today's petroleum-fueled transportation and the electric cars of the future.
Was this
2010, right on the... Yeah.
Was this right after AC Propulsion had changed their T0 from lead to the Optimum yellow tops to lithium? They just took a bunch of laptop cells like we're used to today, basically. And
are you seriously asking me that? I don't know.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of as you were describing it. Yeah,
Casey suspects this is the case.
There was a little yellow car called the T0, and it was made by AC Propulsion. They ended up selling a lot of their patents to Tesla.
Okay.
I don't know.
And it started out, it ran on lead acid batteries. I think 14 or 28 of them, and then they ended up flipping it to lithium-ion batteries. This little car here.
Sure.
Yeah. And so that's when they switched to the yellow tops. And then right here is where they had switched to lithium, just surplus laptop cells. And then they ended up having a range extender.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about batteries.
Sorry. Those are batteries.
That's okay.
So he calls out in the article here, the Tesla Roadster was Tesla's first car. Of course, it came out. The Mini E, the Volt, and Fisker Karma, the Nissan Leaf. The Nissan Leaf, believe it or not, was just about to arrive in 2010. And he talks about how President Obama at the time, the administration was proposing raising the standard CAFE to 35.5 in 2016, and how batteries were going to be necessary to push that. And then in a slight, he jumps on I think Honda and Toyota and saying, yeah, they're kind of slow to come around, haven't really done much, and they're still holding on to nickel metal hydride. So I started there, and that took me to an article from Bloomberg, and they actually did what I wanted to do in the first place, which was look at the full decade in review. And the Bloomberg article starts by tracking the lithium-ion battery price in 2010. The cost per kilowatt hour. You guys want to guess what the cost per kilowatt hour was in 2010?
$1,000.
$10 million.
Okay, so we have 1,000. We have, what do you say, 580? Is that Canadian?
Yep.
Okay, and $10 million. So it was $1,160. Casey wins the Showcase Showdown.
Nice.
And then it drops each year 22%, 21%, 8% between 12 and 13, 11%, 35% drop from 14 to 15, all the way down to 2018, which is the last full year of information that they have. You want to guess what it was at the end of 2018?
$108.
$150.
Russell?
I have no idea. I mean, I know, but I can't say because you told me before the show. So I'm just going to be like, I don't know.
All right. So $176 at the end of 2018. Now, this article was written at the end of 2019. They just didn't have the numbers, but we know it continues to drop year after year after year. And what they are projecting is that it will get below $100. And they're saying $94 a kilowatt hour in 2024. And in 2030, they're projecting $62 a kilowatt hour. Now, this might just sound like numbers, like why are we talking about this? Why do we care? But we know that when it comes to electric vehicles, the car is the car. So you take a manufacturer who's just making a regular car and they want to convert it to electric, to an electric vehicle. Well, the battery is the big hindrance right there. You rip out all the transmission, you have to replace it with the battery. As the battery gets cheaper, the overall cost of manufacturing the car gets lower. And that's what's going to make electric vehicles a lot more affordable. And that's what's really going to help push the adaptation of our transportation sector from gasoline battery operated and specifically lithium ion, hopefully.
Yeah. So that would make my battery under 10 grand assembled.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'll give you $5,000 for it right now.
I need it right now.
See? And you know what the truth is? I don't have $5,000 right now. I got like $50.
Oh, I needed more than $50. So, so when you mentioned that he was talking about the Tesla Roadster, then yes, this would be right about that same time that the T0 was finishing its run. They had sold everything to Tesla. Everything was analog, and Martin Eberhard and Martin Tapperding, they had to convert everything. Then they got some money from Musk. They had to convert everything to digital because it didn't work the way they expected when they tried to mass produce it. But that's exactly why the original Tesla Roadster had the number of cells that it did, because it was just a repackaging of this initially. That's really cool.
Oh.
10 years already, my goodness.
I know.
Yeah, can you imagine what it's going to be like in another 10? So we've got economies of scale. We've got many manufacturers that are now involved in battery production, and we see nothing but the price dropping further and batteries getting more dense, smaller packs, more energy dense, and cheaper. So man, the future looks bright when it comes to battery packs for sure.
Now, I want to ask you guys one question, because it's something I was thinking about while I was reading this, and then other articles about lithium-ion and the price drop. And my concern, it's a bit of a concern. It's not a strong concern. But if the cost of lithium-ion batteries become so low, if the cost gets so low, if the batteries become so cheap, could there be the potential that new technologies might, because they can't come in and hit the market at the lithium-ion price? Do you know what I mean? It took 10 years for lithium-ion to drop from $1,100 to $176. We've heard rumors now IBM is making claims that they can make batteries from elements they pull out of salt water. Well, so the concern here, what I'm thinking is, if they can't bring that to market for less than $176 a kilowatt hour, is it starting out as a deficit? What do you guys think?
I don't think so. I think for the fact that if the manufacturing process shows that if you were to do it in scale, you'd be able to bring down the price, I think that new type of technology will still have a place in the market. It's just that as other industries have shown us, you may get a market leader that starts, but once something else comes out that holds some promise in other areas and improves on what you already have, there'll be a number of companies that will be willing to invest in it to recoup some of that and go with the new technology. I think something else could overtake it. It just has to show promise in the early stages.
I don't think it's locked in 100%, but you do have a point. Right now, it is sitting there as the incumbent. Something new would have to be either significantly cheaper or like 10 times more robust or lighter, or it would have to accomplish some other goal, or perhaps maybe another component of everybody else's lithium ion. You've got NMCA, you've got lithium phosphate, you've got all sorts of different formulas. Maybe the three leading formulas have a component shortage, and then this other one is able to take over. But it wouldn't be the lithium, because they don't use a lot of it, and lithium is the third most common element in the universe. But let that cobalt run out, let the aluminum run out. Ooh, you got a problem.
Right.
We'll all be using hydrogen fuel cells by then, and hydrogen is the most common element in the universe, as we all well know.
It only makes sense. Yes.
I mean, the amazing thing is that, in 10 years, since this is the other thing about this is our anniversary month. This show started on January 20th, 2010.
Oh my God, that's right. Wow.
Yeah. So in less than 3 weeks, we're going to have our official 10th anniversary. We'll go into our 11th year of shows. And the changes that have come about since then, they're fucking mind-blowing to me. I mean, the idea that lithium-ion batteries would go down in price in order of magnitude, and we have yet to really encounter any unsolvable problem as far as getting the resources for those batteries. There's lots of talk. Everybody we're going to run out of lithium. That was 2 years ago. Oh, we're going to run out of lithium. I was like, what are you talking about? Now it's cobalt. We get it. I mean, there are certainly resources are limited by nature, but it's interesting to me that that we've seen this change. I mean, it just, nothing's changed with gasoline cars in the last 10 years like that. Gas mileage has gotten better. Cars are a little safer, but you look at the progress that electric vehicles have made. it's staggering. It's staggering. So
Yeah.
And we still have a long way to go. We're at what, under 2% market penetration?
Like
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's amazing how far we've come, and it's amazing still how much farther there is to go. But we'll get there.
I'm excited beyond the automotive industry is the home storage industry for electricity. So those same lithium cells to be placed on some sort of a power wall or equivalent to be able to store electricity from your solar panels, or even if it becomes cheap enough that it makes sense to purchase one of those units just to take the electricity from the grid when it's at lowest rate, and then be able to use that at different times throughout the day and not be penalized for it. That would be remarkable if we could have a unit like that would pay for itself just by taking grid energy and reusing it at different points of the day.
Well,
exactly.
And look at the companies that are Nissan has a program recycling leaf batteries. So we're even going to see like an extended life for lithium-ion electric vehicle batteries that could act as home storage and provide wonderful service, low cost. There's no additional resources needed. It's not a recycling program. It's a repurposing program, to take the good modules, put them in packs, put controllers on them, and boom, you've got home storage. That's really cool to go right from the car to the house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And not the landfill.
Right. And I'm sure repurposing. I mean, we know that the materials can be scraped, and they could be recycled. But if repurposing is less expensive, then that's going to be the decision the companies are going to make. And if they still have years of good use, then reuse them instead of putting all the effort into recycling them.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I don't know that anything else has changed to the extent that storage has. And I know it's been a mantra of mine on this show for a long, long time that the problem was never energy generation. It's always been storage. Energy is easy and to find, and we can find it all over the place. It's always been the problem of how to get it from one point to from point A to point B, from where you need it. That's the wonderful thing about fossil fuels. It stores energy very densely. It's easy to burn. It's easy to use. It's crappy, ask the people in Australia how they're feeling about fossil fuels and carbon right now. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The ones that aren't on fire, ask them.
Yeah.
I saw a really touching video with some firemen. They couldn't get out, and you hear the chief put up the fire blanket in the window, and they're trying to shelter in place. And there's just an inferno going on outside their window. It's incredible.
Yeah. Bad situation and getting worse.
Yeah, and none of it's helped by Dodge Challenger wide body special edition. Yeah.
Rolling coal.
I had to get in a dig on Dodge, didn't I? I just had to. I don't know why.
Well played.
Oh wait, because all they do is make muscle cars. That's why. Let's go to a happy story about exciting German robots, and who would ever think there could be anything wrong with German robots?
Wow.
Well, that could be a problem, but for this story, let's say it's not.
Okay, good.
VW has developed this new concept that they have shown recently through an animation, and this article explains about it. Basically, it's an autonomous charging robot system. So what you've got is this cute little bot that you see up front here with the eyes on it. That's the driving unit. That basically sounds like R2-D2. It beeps and whistles. It's got the eyes, and its job basically is to tow the second vehicle behind it, that other brick-looking vehicle behind it, and it comes up to a car, opens the charge port, and plugs in that second unit. Then once that unit is plugged in, it's a 25 kilowatt battery pack, and will start to charge the car. And then the drive unit will then leave, go back to the spot designated in the garage, and plug itself back in to continue charging so it can make a next run to another car. Or if said car number 1 uses up the complete 25 kilowatt charge, it could come back with a second battery that's full, replace it, and take the empty one back and plug it into a charging bay so it begins to charge again for the next car. So it's an interesting system that allows the owner of the car just basically to show up in a garage that is equipped with this, press a button on their smartphone in their app, and then go off and do whatever they're going to do. And then this little robot will come out and bring out the appropriate charging amount, get it plugged in, and get their car charging. The animation's kind of cool as it moves around. I'm not sure if we could show that or not, so I will err on the side of not showing it. But you can
have Volkswagen's legal team.
You can definitely follow the link and watch the animation yourself as this little bot moves around and charges other cars. But it's a cool little system. I don't know if is this completely required? Certainly not at this point. But this does give you the freedom that you don't have to wire up a number of spots and worry about cars being iced, because now your app is the thing that directs the charging to you, and your car can be parked in any spot that you were able to find. So that's certainly a plus with this type of a system. But then, of course, you've got the extra charge of these units sitting around, being plugged, moving around. There's going to be maintenance involved with some of this stuff. So there's positives, there's negatives, but I have to hand it to VW. This is definitely an interesting solution, and it does solve a few problems that we are seeing today.
I would use 4 of those modules.
Right. Yeah. In a bigger car, you would definitely use 3 or 4 if you were completely empty.
Yeah,
but
if you I was going to say.
Depending on how long you're going to be at the location is another thing. If you're there just to do some shopping, your car might only be there for an hour or 2, as opposed to if it's an office, you may be there for the whole time. But again, it depends on what you're trying to get out of it. But this solution does cover both. There might be some extra shuttling involved if you've got a large battery and you're there for a long time, but it still could provide the power to you. It becomes a question of, well, what do they charge for this type of service? This automated service is another thing. They probably would upcharge it a little bit to cover some of the costs. So it's interesting. I found the article interesting and the animation inventive as to what they were doing here.
Can I tell you what irritates the piss out of me about this?
Is it the eyes?
So cute?
Because it's me. Because that's what I'm here. That's why I'm the subject of a drinking game on the Tesla Life. I mean, honestly, like the R2D2, the robot, is cute and all of that. But you know how to make this simple and how to make it work today, to make it work flawlessly.
Put plugs on each of the spots.
Just throw away the fucking robot and put a human in there.
Oh.
A human brings you a battery pack and plugs the right plug into your car and charges you up. And then when it's done, the human gets notified and comes and unplugs it if it needs to change. A human. We're so afraid of hiring humans and creating jobs for humans that we've got to make cute little robots. And now, how's the charging robot going to find the right hole and the right plug? Who knows? It'll be that weird sexual thing like the Tesla charging snake, that looked like it was raping every car it was charging. It's not pretty. Okay. Why? Nobody's going to hang with me on this one, huh?
Nobody wants those jobs, though. Like, really, nobody wants those jobs.
I don't know that that's entirely true.
I'm with you. I'm with you on this one, Russell. I really am.
Just companies don't want that type of thing where they have to hire another worker and they have to pay that person's.
That's horrible, isn't it?
It is horrible, but that is today. And that is where the future's going, is really eliminating jobs is where we're going. They want these things to work on their own without breaks, without scheduling conflicts. They want these things just to operate 24/7 and never have to think about them again.
except that they'll be doing maintenance all the time. So,
and if something goes wrong, if the robot shows up and doesn't properly seat, because I know sometimes when I'm charging in public, I have to work the plug a few times until I get that click.
Yeah.
There was a video I did at not Paulsboro, but the one before it, where I plugged in and then went into the Wawa and came out, and the car had taken in 2 kilowatt hours, and I had to replug it and then wait the whole time because I didn't check the first time.
Yeah.
Again, this seems like such an... I'm sorry, go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, yeah, so the robot doesn't seat it correctly. It doesn't charge at all. It doesn't seat it correctly. It trickles at a painful rate or scratches something. And who's going to pay for that? Do you know the best way to eliminate ice holes? People
have a human there
that says, hey, motherfucker, get out of the space. This is not for you. I will call the police.
I'm calling the towing company right now.
Now. Yep. Yes.
So plus they won't run it over. Oh, well, they very well could run over the human, but they're going to be much less likely to run over the human than to be in a rush and not paying attention and hit the little cutesy butt than the guy in the fluorescent vest. And he'll know which ones are broken, which ones work fast, and so if you've got one that works better than another, that's going to be the one he prefers.
But I do have to say that the not having to worry about a spot with a charger is very nice.
That
is nice.
If you were to pull into a parking garage that's 4 floors, and it doesn't matter where I go, I can park and the charging will come to me. That's cool. Really good.
You'd be like a fully electrified garage no matter where you park.
Yeah.
So like dude comes over with the little battery cart and bump. And
in theory, it should be cheaper to put that in place, one single charging spot per floor, as opposed to having to run it to multiple bays on that floor.
Right.
All the wiring has to go to one cubicle where all the plugs are.
You put it right next to your mechanical room where the elevator already is.
Yeah, closest to where the feed is, and not have to run it. Again, I don't think this is necessary today, but if our future is more electric cars and the amount dramatically increases, then this could be something.
That, or we get the car carousels, and as you plug it into the tray, you plug it into the car, and then away it goes. And then when it parks, it charges.
Okay, let me just say, I am going to predict that before we see something like robot chargers, we are going to see a modification of the plug that instead of being like it is now, where you have to plug something in and and it has a seat, everything. I'm thinking more like a MacBook. What is it? The Mag plug thing?
MagSafe?
Yeah.
Underneath?
I mean, well, either underneath, but then the problem is you put it underneath and
you gotta wash it first.
You've got you wash it here in the salt plains of Midwest, with the grime and the snow and the crap. But, even if it's under a flap, that would be pretty much foolproof if you could do something like that. And then I would be okay with a robot coming in and just getting close enough that it just click, it mags in or whatever.
Yeah, because right now everybody's got
where I'm going.
Yeah, because right now everybody's got their port in a different place. Porsche's got that weird inlet that comes in and goes up. Tesla's got it hidden near the back. Nissan's always got it in the front. Somebody's probably going to do that behind the license plate again, just because everything is fashionable in a cycle.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think there's some standardization certainly has to happen.
Which will never happen, because there are some companies that absolutely want to blaze their own trail. Tesla's the best example of that.
But they have the excuse that the stuff wasn't ready and they had to make something so they could sell their car or go out of business.
They couldn't wait for the others that were slow to the game to come up with a standard. They had to jump right in 2010.
Yeah. So what would be cool
Right,
is
you
if somebody
get
would
that.
adopt their plug, like they keep saying that they're offering. I don't know if it's a licensing deal or what, but like, why do we have CHAdeMO, CCS, and Tesla? I mean, we should be down to 2 by now.
I thought Elon gave all those patents away.
He does, as long as you promise
Yeah.
not to sue him.
Yeah, I mean, I fully agree. I mean, and it's, we see the same thing with cellular phones. I mean, we're getting close, but we
Type-C.
still have, we still have USB, we have Apple.
Well, we're really down to 2 there, aren't we? Like that's it.
I think so.
Yeah,
Finally.
it's like USB or the Lightning connector. That's it.
Yeah, this year, USB-C and
It's been that way for a number of years now.
yeah.
But even in cell phones, they're almost, they're threatening like almost everyone's going to inductive charging. So maybe we'll see a very similar thing with electric vehicles.
Hopefully not inductive, though. That wastes so much electricity if you add it up amongst all the vehicles or all the cell phones.
But
So much is going to heat.
Yeah, but improvements, something that's
I
better.
I like your idea with the magnetic pulls the plug in by itself type thing, and
You don't worry about it
guarantees there's a
scratching.
connection that all you have to do is get it close.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. I suspect very little will come of this. It's one of those things. Well, it's just one of those things,
You're
it's
probably
like
right on this one.
the Tesla charging snake, like, yeah, that's cool. Okay, next. We're not going to spend any money on that.
But
He
come
made
on,
so
you
many
have to
jokes
admit,
about-
come on, the little robot was cute.
Yeah.
The little robot is cute. Yes,
It
I will
is.
give you that.
He made so many jokes about not bending over in front of his robot.
Oh, someone had to go there. Casey,
You started
Casey,
it.
do I need to pay more attention when collecting the news? Do you have another charging robot story, or is it the same charging robot story?
It was the same one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, Casey. I didn't notice that until just now. Damn it.
That's what I was saying before the show, and I thought that you noticed. But I could talk about the Tesla snake. I mean, we're looking back, right? 10 years?
Let's not talk about the Tesla snake.
Okay.
Let's go to your story about the most recent Tesla software update.
Certainly.
How's that?
It sounds great to me. So
I love
Christmas Eve, Tesla had a present for all of us. They had, well,
not all of us.
Not
Just
all
you
of us.
Tesla owners, yeah.
right.
I'm just saying, like, Elon didn't give me shit this year, okay?
Again.
I waited.
Again. So they had a what they called a holiday update, or a FSD preview, full self-driving preview, if you had the right computer, which I do. And in it we got a bunch of items, but there were actually several re-releases of it. There was 2019.40.50. Very few people got that. Then 2019.40.50.1. I got that. Then 50.5. Got that too. 50.6. I don't know what happened to that. It showed up for like a day. And then this morning, last night for New Year's Eve, I got 50.7. And that was a whole ordeal. You can watch the Tesla Life to see what not to do. And then you can watch my channel if you want to see the details about what's in it, like as far as like what they all look like. But what was included? You got the ability to save your dash cam clips on honk. So don't know how well that works here on the East Coast, but if you beep your horn, usually something's happened, right? So now it'll automatically, if you turn the switch on, it'll automatically.
Not if you live on the East Coast. They're honking just for fun out there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But it's just any other time. Like anytime something like that happens, you probably are also honking. So at that point, if you have the switch turned on, it will automatically save the last 10 minutes of footage to your storage device. And it waits 5 seconds before triggering the save. So that way it gives it more chance to let whatever is happening happen. They saved more stuff to your driver profile. They added more languages. And of course, if you have the right computer, they have the driving visualization improvements. So it can show you what it's seeing as far as traffic lights, road signs, road paint as far as, say, like the bike lanes and merge lanes, that sort of thing. They added phone improvements. So you can now hands-free text to and from the car. A lot of people's phones had this before. But then as we went forward, all the manufacturers started taking it out of their phones. So you would have to use Siri or Cortana or the Google Assistant to make that happen. And a lot of people don't actually have that on because they mishear so often, and like they jump in to try and help you and you don't need it. And Some other options they had were they have the adjacent lane speeds. They improved the auto wipers. They actually added a neural net for the for the wipers. They added the voice to text keyboard, as well as a kind of like a mixing board, tracks they call it. It's a digital audio workstation, DAW, and they added Twitch to the Tesla Theater. They added a video game called Stardew Valley. They added backgammon, and I noticed that like everybody who was doing a YouTube review of it, all of them said, "I don't know how to play backgammon," and I was like, I should probably learn how to play backgammon just so I can not say that when it's my turn. And
dude, I love backgammon. I am a backgammon hound. Yeah.
Excellent. We'll have to get you to show us how to play.
But I am not buying a Tesla just to play. Yeah. It would be the most expensive backgammon game I ever bought.
Right. And then they had some more phone improvements. They added camp mode. So now when you're going to glamping, if you will, staying in the car instead of putting up a tent, and it's more comfortable now. The car will keep the charging on. It'll keep on or off whatever screens you've told it to, the radio, the climate control. It's just
so are we talking like fully folding the back seats and just sleeping in the back? Is that what we're talking about here? Or Model X or
well, Model X will hold a queen size bed, as will the Model S, but less headroom. And then the Model 3 will hold a full size bed. And then of course you've got to put your head into the car, because if you put your head into the trunk and you sit up, it could be messy. But you could lay whichever way you wanted to. And that is just a small taste of what Tesla did this holiday season.
Wow. Elon, so nice to you guys.
Yeah,
I know.
Better be for the amount of money we gave him.
Yeah. Yeah, I was flipping through this, and yeah, I mean, these are some very very neat things. I had a question about adjacent lane speeds, though.
Yes.
And one of the examples they give is they say this is helpful in heavy traffic situations or when there is a long line of vehicles merging into a different lane or exiting onto an off ramp.
Right.
Now, see, okay, so here in Chicagoland area, you know, there's a lot of interstates and a lot of off ramps with very long lines during rush hour.
Yeah.
And so that's what really confused me. Is it saying that if I'm driving past, or if it's driving past a half a mile wait for people exiting, even though I'm going straight, is it going to slow down? Why?
Yes. Because, and I actually had this happen to me while I was closing my videos out. You get some numpty that just jumps out of that stopped lane into the full flow of traffic. And if you're going at full speed and they jump out in some fossil that can't accelerate it faster than 8 seconds to 60, it could make a mess. And actually that happened to me, and the car had actually already started to slow down, and it was glorious. But I had actually thought, now that this is doing it, let's video it, and then let's step on the accelerator, which once you step on the accelerator, it ignores all of that programming and it goes back to full speed. The other problem with that is you get the people going at full speed that stop immediately to try and jam themselves in at the front of the line, which is another reason why they want to mitigate the closing distance. So there's two ways to get around it. You can step on the accelerator and it'll pick back up, or the safer thing is to go one more lane over to the other side, left or right. That way there's a buffer.
Yeah, and I think that's what most, let's just say humans, will do. I guess you're right. You always watch the cars to see whose wheels are turning. Yeah. To see who's about to jump out in front of you, or you just get over.
Yeah, and the machine has seen so many examples and had them reported home that it feels like magic, that when all of a sudden your car is driving past those cars and it just slams on the brakes and you're starting to get angry and pissed off at it, and all of a sudden you see the jackass just jump into the lane. You're like, oh, that's why it did it. Okay, I'm not mad anymore. But in the moment you're like, But I guess it's like they all have the same patterns with the wheels and the way the car is angled, and the car's like, I know what's happening next, and it just prepares. And I'd much rather be pissed off than in a collision.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then one more thing that I thought was really neat was, of course, the automatic wiper improvements. And where did I see that it actually says that the deep neural network trained with over 1 million images?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's even better than that is because, we kept complaining before they did this that, they've only seen rain in Southern California like 3 times a year. And it's all like this beautiful mist. And like,
Okay, well, that's totally not true, but okay, sure.
well, you would think that from the way that the wipers behaved in the past.
Well, that is another issue. But
And so the beauty is that as you get each of these new types of rain, because like in the Northeast and the Southeast, the rain style is completely different. If you find that it's not going enough, you just hit the little wipe once button and they'll log it. If you hit it again enough times, like say it's almost got it and you just hit it, it watches you and it learns. So my very first night with it, it was a rainy night and I hit it and it didn't go enough, but it logged it, hit it again. Okay. 3rd time, and I was going to hit it a 4th time, and after that, it was just on the right pattern. As the rain sped up, it sped up as it slowed down, and it was amazing. I do find that it sometimes goes faster, but now they've got this voice command. I can say wiper slower, and it'll just cut it back a little bit, and they log that now too.
there you go.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very.
Well, thank you, Casey.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody have a one more thing this week? Ooh, I love that silence.
No.
Not that I want to shut anybody down. I'm just saying that's like, oh, maybe we've talked enough. Let's do some shout-outs and go home then, gentlemen.
All right.
Casey Green, I'm going to start with you because you've got all kinds of exciting things happening.
Yes. So Friday night at the same time that we do this show, I am doing my 1-year anniversary for my YouTube channel. That one started on we've started seriously on it on January 2nd of 19, and I was looking back at the numbers, and it was actually running for 10 years, and it took me that long. It took me 9 years to actually decide, let's do something with this, and it's been a blast. We've made over 100 videos, and we're sitting now at 391 subscribers. Our stretch goal is by the end of tomorrow to be at 1,000. It's not impossible, but it's also not likely. As to that one person between what drives us and the Tesla life, thank you. That's one closer. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do that as a live show, and we're gonna kind of do a review of how that year went, as well as I want to take questions and answers and concerns from the audience, and make sure that everything is kind of shaped for you guys. Make sure I'm providing the best content.
So that's Friday
night,
9 p.m. Eastern.
Yes,
6 p.m. Pacific.
Correct. And that will be at youtube.com/KCGreen, KACEYGREEN. And if you want to get the notification right when we go live, hit subscribe and then hit that bell, and it'll let you know as we go live.
So just to be clear, that's like 10:30 Newfoundland time. Is that
Bingo.
correct?
Okay,
Tony,
cool.
You're an honorary Canadian right there.
Wow.
I've reached my goal. That's all I wanted.
Of course, you can't wear that Blackhawk sweater.
Come on. Come on. All right. I'm out.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Casey. Be sure to check in with youtube.com/Casey Green. Get signed up, and you may see us again on Friday. Twice in 1 week. What could be... I feel so bad for you if you watch us twice in 1 week. I'm sorry.
Do it for me.
Do it for Casey. Yeah. Do it for Casey. Mr. Coughlin.
Just wanted to give a shout out to the Waterloo Region Electric Vehicle Association. We got a meeting coming up on Friday, January 10th. If you're in the Waterloo region, send us a note through our Facebook or our Twitter feed and let us know you'd like to attend, and we will set you up with proper information. So that Twitter feed is WREVA Group on Twitter. So find us there and send us a note if you can attend.
Beautiful. Tony Schaefer.
Well, I want to give a shout out to all of our most recent subscribers. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the videos and subscribing to the channel. Really do appreciate it. If every time I see that subscriber go up one, I just I feel good, because it means we're doing something that people are interested enough that they take the time to subscribe.
Can I over Christmas, I was, because I'm in there every day. I'm logged in all the time, and I'm looking at our dashboard, And it's not like an ego thing. Like, oh, I have 972 Twitter followers, and oh my God, 970. But it's the channel. You know what I mean? Like, we've worked on this for so long, and in one day we lost like 10 people. Like, it went from 1167 to 1157. I was like, what the hell did we do?
Yeah, we weren't even on air.
What did we do?
Right.
I'm sorry, Tony.
No, did you?
We care. Yeah, I guess.
But did you happen to note and so okay, so as long as we're here, I'm going to go ahead and show this because I saw this too.
You gotta link it to like one of my reviews or something.
Are you kidding me? I upgraded my Mac to Catalina, whatever it's called.
That's
not OS.
Yeah.
And now I just tried to do a screen share, and it says Skype would like to access your screen. Dude, I don't have time for this shit right now. Anyway, on the YouTube thing, it says in the studio, it says known YouTube issues. Some creators may see a drop in subscriber count on December 25th, December 26th.
Yeah, I see that.
I didn't see that.
So, yeah. So that's so we. I know because I thought the exact same thing, but anyway, yeah.
And I support YouTube cleaning the bots off and all that. I mean, we've never bought subscribers, although we've thought about it. We've never bought subscribers or done any stupid contests or promotions or anything like that. Like, everybody who's subscribed ostensibly has some connection to the content of the show.
So I like that YouTube actually changed that policy. Like, you can't do a contest where it's for subscribers only, or the way to enter is to subscribe, because they wanted to make sure they were organic and real. Yeah. And that's pretty cool.
Well, yeah, now that there are 10-year-olds doing makeup tutorials with 13 million subscribers, let's cut that off now.
Yeah.
It only took them 5 years.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tony. I'm sorry.
No, I just So if if you want more information than what we talk about on this show, if you want more news, if you want to read what we're reading and follow what we're following, make sure you check out our Flipboard magazine. You can go to flipboard.com, search for What Drives Us. Philip Barclay, who, God love him, happens to root for a Canadian team, but I love him all the same.
Way to go, Phil!
We gotta root this Canadian influence out of the show, okay? We need to bring the show back to America.
He throws articles in the magazine. I think between the two of us, we keep it updated pretty much every day with several articles at a time. And Philip is awesome because we were texting back and forth during a hockey game when our teams were playing, and so it was a lot of fun. Make sure and look for us on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, it's facebook.com/whatdrivesus. Twitter is @whatdrivesus.
Yeah. Oddly enough, it is.
Yeah. And I think Twitter is Russell. Facebook is Patrick. Russell's open is mail right now. Is that the check from Lexus for your latest review?
Aw.
Christmas cats.
Sometimes
the gift that keeps on giving.
The gift that keeps on, absolutely. Patrick actually does Facebook and Twitter. I comment on Twitter, and you can tell because if it's a straight news article, it's probably Patrick. If it's me saying something mean about something, it's me. Okay, so if it's a smart ass remark, it's me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Tony.
No, that's all I got. And Patreon. Search for What Drives Us on Patreon if you want to just straight up endorse the show.
Absolutely. For as little as $1 a month, less than a quarter per show.
It's only a quarter per show in February.
There you go. Right. It might actually, maybe a little more than. Yeah. Maybe we're ripping you off 1 month a year.
1 month a year. That's no big deal.
Is it a leap year this year?
Oh, no.
No,
it's a zero. It's
zero.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Tony?
I'm done. This is probably the worst outro I think we've ever done.
I'm, it's low impact. It's a new year. So
It's low impact.
Yeah. Doubt this show's ever been low impact.
It's like, have we ever been high impact?
Yeah. The Tesla life, that's an intense 60-minute ride. Okay, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Whereas we're a little more casual here on what I don't know. I that's not true.
Now you're just making stuff up.
Yeah, I'm totally making it up. Anyway, so I'm going to stop making things up other than to thank Tony and Philip for all the work they do on Flipboard and on the news, which is a ton of work. I watch them do it, and it makes me tired just watching them. And I don't do any of the work. I just watch them work, and I get tired.
Mr. Mandarin.
If you're a doctor in the audience and that means something to you, call me. Okay. I want to, as always, thank Michael Mannering for his amazing theme music. Visit him at manthing.com. You can buy his music all over the place, except never buy it on CD Baby because they suck. So thank you, Michael, for that.
Sure.
I want to thank Mark Coughlin, Casey Green, and Tony Schaefer. This is me pointing to them on my screen. I'm not sending any kind of... I'm not playing the circle game. Anyway, we're not going to get political. We're not going to get political because it's the first day of a new year and we're going to be positive. And of course, I want to thank all of you for watching the show every week. You're the reason we do it. Thanks so much. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube. That's a huge way to help us. That costs you nothing. Or of course, you can go to Patreon. Toss us $1 or $2 a month. We would appreciate it immensely. It would go to our $1 million per month production budget, which you see illustrated here on this page right now. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we need more caviar and whatever else it is we spend. What do we spend that money on, Tony?
You know what?
Bills.
I rent private jets. I don't fly them. I just rent them.
You just rent them.
You just sit on the tarmac.
We're certainly not spending it on bandwidth, are we, Tony?
God damn it.
Good comeback. That was good.
I don't know I honestly don't know what's happening here.
We're gonna someday Chelsea will come back on the show and that'll really end the whole bandwidth mystery. Anyway. So happy New Year to all of you. Thanks for tuning in again. Tune in next week and find out what drives us.
2020, baby.
We didn't say 2019 once, did we? Yeah, 2020. We know the year. Have a good one, everybody.